He was a demon king with an ugly face like a skull, ostracized because he had evil eyes, and was also considered a problem because he almost destroyed the world. Because of this, the church sent a group of holy knights to kill the demon king. This group was also led by a hero named Shigrua. And now there is a big war between humans and demons. They fight very fiercely, but because Shigrua is assisted by knights and magicians, he is able to make the demon king injured. This time Shigrua's past is shown. He was born with evil eyes. Because of that, people were afraid of him. Fortunately, the church helped him and made him a hero. And it turns out the demon king also had the same eyes as Shigrua, but he chose to become a necromancer. Back to the present. Because he almost lost, the demon king used the power of all the corpses in that place. Shigrua, who saw the demon king's actions, tried to prevent it. He used all his strength to prevent the demon king. Seeing the heroes fight against the demon king, everyone thought that they would die, but Shigrua didn't give up, but suddenly a light appeared while they were fighting. The scene suddenly changes to show a child who is in Japan. He is very confused because previously he was fighting, plus his neck was badly injured, but he is happy because he sees a peaceful life, therefore he wants to live peacefully in this world. Then a policeman approached the child, but he was very confused because he didn't understand the language the child was using. A few moments later he managed to get the child's memory. His name was Polka. A man named Takumi monitored Polka using a drone. He was very surprised to see Polka still alive, because he knew Polka had been killed. Back at Polka's place, a girl named Misaki takes Polka away. She claims to be Polka's friend, so Polka believes her. But it turns out that Misaki was the one who tried to kill the owner of Polka's body, so Misaki tried to kill him again. Polka tried to fight, but his body was too weak, so he tried to control himself. He also tried to use magic, but in this world there was no magic, and now he thought that he would die. Then he hid in a room. It turned out that the room was the room where the murder occurred. Because of that, his evil eyes rose again. Moving to another world, the fight between the demon king and the hero has ended. Everyone is very happy because Shigrua has defeated the demon king, but Shigrua feels that the feeling of the devil disappeared when they fought. Back at Polka's place, Misaki tries to kill Polka, but Polka uses her powers to attack Misaki, and she dies. Polka was very shocked because he accidentally killed another person, because he thought that if he killed someone, he would no longer be able to live in peace. Because of that, Polka tries to revive Misaki. Takumi, who saw all this, was very shocked, because he had never known that there was a human who had powers like Polka. He immediately contacted his leader named Lisa. This time we show Polka's past in another world. He was born with evil eyes. Because of that, he was always bullied. His parents even sold him to a witch. Because of that, he became a necromancer. He has also killed many people for hundreds of years. But he felt that his actions were wrong, so he sought peace. He met many good people. He even got married, but the holy knight killed his wife. Because of that, he became very angry and killed many people. He was even nicknamed the Devil King. This time, Misaki's past is shown. She comes from a harmonious family, but one day a murderer came to attack her family. After that incident, she was determined to become a murderer for revenge. Several years later, Misaki succeeded in killing the person who killed her family. She was very happy, and she also took on her final mission, namely growing Polka. After that, she tried to commit suicide, but she didn't do it because she heard that Polka was still alive. Back to the present, Lisa and her friends come to Polka's place. They are a group of hitmen. They come to kill Polka, because Polka has killed Misaki. Then Polka explained that he wanted to save Misaki. At first they didn't believe it and thought what Polka was doing was just CGI, but Takumi used his drone to prove that it was real. But they were still afraid to see the devil's power used by Polka. Suddenly there was a fire in another building. Polka immediately came to save the children who were trapped in the fire. He also used his necromancer powers. Fortunately, no one saw him directly, and there were no victims in the fire. But it turns out that someone was secretly filming Polka. Because of that, the residents were excited to see the skull trying to save the children. Because of that, Takumi tried his best to cover up the incident on the internet. He made people believe that it was just CGI. After seeing that, Lisa believed Polka. A few moments later, Polka finally managed to save Misaki, but Polka turned Misaki's body into a zombie, so she could no longer live a normal life. Misaki was shocked to learn that, but she tried to accept it, because she became stronger when she became a zombie. After that, Lisa asked about Polka's true goals. Polka only said that she just wanted to live in peace. Because of that, Lisa advised Polka to join her group of assassins, because their group only kills bad people. Lisa also promised to protect Polka from people who trying to disturb the peace of his life. And now Polka is starting his new life together with Takumi and Misaki. They help Polka to adapt to the human world. Lisa told Polka to send a letter to the family of the owner of the original body, namely Polka Shinomiya. Takumi was curious about Polka's story in another world, so Polka told him all his story, and also included the reason he was nicknamed the Demon King. After hearing that, Takumi became even more afraid of Polka, because Polka had killed many people, but he also believed that Polka really wanted to be a good person. Then Polka moved Polka's real soul into a drone, because Polka could easily move human souls. He also said that if there were lots of human souls in that building, that's why he could use his power. Suddenly a man came to their place. The man asked Misaki to kill someone. At first she refused, but Polka came and agreed to the request. That night, Misaki went to the designated place. It turned out it was a trap set by a group of Yakuza to kill Misaki. They were very surprised to see Misaki, who was still alive even though she had been shot in the body. Polka also helped. He used his magic powers, and was able to kill all the Yakuza members easily. It turned out that Polka received a request to kill the Yakuza from the spirits of children who had been killed by the Yakuza members. Takumi, who saw Polka helping the spirits of children, became increasingly convinced that Polka was actually good, but he used his powers wrongly in another world. Then Takumi contacted Lisa to report all the incidents. Lisa warned Takumi to keep Polka away from a man named Lemmings, because he is the most dangerous killer in the world today. Suddenly a mysterious person contacted Lisa. That person asked to kill Polka, but Lisa didn't agree because Polka was their member. Moving to Polka's place, it turns out that after becoming a zombie, Misaki's saliva turned into poison, so she can make people faint just by biting her. This time we show a man named Tsubaki. He is a policeman, but not an ordinary policeman, but a super policeman assigned to catch murderers. He and his friend Arasa were assigned to investigate a murder case, and the person suspected of being the murder suspect was Lemmings, but they failed to find Lemmings. After that, Tsubaki and the other police members discussed murder cases. They also showed that there were many great killers that they had caught, but there were 3 fugitives that they had not been able to catch. They were nicknamed Angels of Death, fire-breathing insects, and also lemmings. They will add one more killer, namely the Skeleton Man, because the police suspect that the Skeleton Man has killed many people. But they still suspected that it was just CGI, therefore they were very confident that they could catch the Skeleton Man, because previously they had succeeded in catching a great magician who was nicknamed Phantom Sholtaire. Moving to Polka's place, he now moves Polka's real body into a shark doll, so he can move a little more freely. After that, Polka said that she lacked magic energy. He also explained that the way to get magic energy was to use energy from places with lots of corpses, or you could also use energy from magic stones, and in Japan, gemstones have similar energy. With magic stones, Polka tried to buy the first stone, but he was very surprised because the price of gemstones was very expensive, different from in his world, where children could easily buy magic stones. This time, Tsubaki is shown going to the bar managed by Lisa. He is looking for a Skeleton Man, because he suspects that the Skeleton Man is Lisa's friend, but Lisa pretends not to know. Moving to Polka's place, after coming from the jewel shop, suddenly they met Arasa. Misaki told Polka to be careful with Arasa, because Arasa has very strong physical strength. He was even able to beat a group of gangsters easily, but their Arasa just tried to take Takumi's drone. Seeing Polka's eyes, Arasa was sure that Polka was a strong person, therefore he wanted to fight against Polka, but Takumi told Polka not to show his strength in front of Arasa. Suddenly Misaki kicked Arasa. Then they ran away. Arasa was very surprised to see Misaki's strength, because he had never seen a girl who had such strong strength. When Arasa returned to the police station, the people there were shocked to see Arasa's injured body, because Arasa was one of the strongest police members, so almost no one could hurt him. Moving on to Lisa's bar, Polka and Misaki visit the place. Tsubaki, who gets a report from Arasa about Polka and Misaki's strength, tries to interrogate them. Because the police also suspected that Polka and Misaki were also murderers, Arasa was also there. Suddenly the electricity in that place went out. Polka and Misaki immediately ran away, and suddenly lemmings appeared in that place. Everyone was scared, Polka also felt that Lemmings had strong power. All the police tried to catch Lemmings, but they couldn't catch him. Lisa felt that if Lemmings didn't fight seriously, because if Lemmings was serious then everyone in that place would die. Even Arasa, who was the strongest policeman, couldn't touch Arasa. Polka also felt that it would be difficult for him to defeat Lemmings, because he felt that Lemmings had similar powers to Shigrua, who was a hero from another world. Suddenly Lemmings kidnapped Misaki. Polka immediately tried to chase Lemmings, but Lemmings was able to avoid all of Polka's attacks. Even though the place was very dark, Misaki also attacked Lemmings but she failed. Polka tries to fight seriously using the power of his skull, but Misaki manages to negotiate with the Lemmings, and everything becomes peaceful. Everyone in the place was very happy that they were still alive, because it was very rare for people to be alive when they met Lemmings. This time it is shown that Lemmings meets a man named Takaru. He is a family of the original owner of Polka's body. Lemmings also reports about Polka's whereabouts. After that fight, Polka felt that he was still not strong enough, because he was unable to protect his friend. In fact, he almost ran out of all his magic power when fighting against the Lemmings. Because of that, he promised to always look after his friend, because he wanted to be able to realize his dream of living in peace. The next day Polka wanted to start his own business, because he wanted to earn a lot of money so he could buy magic stones. Polka also showed his power to be able to put spirits into objects. He tried to bring a pen to life which was called a magic pen. Seeing this, Takumi advised Polka to become a fortune teller. Takumi and Misaki also helped Polka. Their business went smoothly, because they had a magic pen that made people believe more. The next day there were two children who suddenly came to Polka's place. They were nephews of the original owner of Polka's body. Their names were Shizuki and Kazuki. They came to that place because they heard that Polka was a fortune teller, but Polka pretended not to know. Takumi and the others were very annoyed at first to see their arrogant attitude, but suddenly Polka became very kind to them, because it turned out there was a spirit who asks Polka to protect them. The spirit is named Suzuka. She is their older sister. Polka also promised to visit the Shinomiya family, which is the family of Polka's original body. After they left, Takumi explained that the Polka family was the very rich Shinomiya family, and the owner of Polka's original body was one of the potential heirs of that family. That's why many people wanted to kill Polka. Knowing that Polka would come, Takaru prepared a plan. He also sent people to watch over Polka. A few days later, Polka and Misaki went to the house of the original owner of Polka's body, but Takaru greeted them unfriendly, and he was even suspicious of Misaki. Before they go there, Takumi tells Polka to be careful with Takaru, because he is suspected of being the person who tried to kill Polka. After that, Polka and Misaki had lunch together with members of the Shinomiya family. Many people looked down on Polka at that place, especially Takaru, because the owner of Polka's original body was a strong candidate for heir to the Shinomiya family. There are also other Shinomiya families there, namely Guro, Kiri, Seo, Kazuki and Shizuki. While they were chatting, Shinomiya Razan, who is the leader of the Shinomiya family, came to the place. He invited Polka to talk together in another place. Razan told Polka to tell him the whole story when he disappeared, but when Polka was telling the story, Razan realized that the current Polka was not the real Polka. Polka was very surprised when Razan found out his identity, because he thought that he had disguised herself perfectly. But when Razan was trying to investigate Polka's identity, suddenly there was an explosion at that place, so Polka immediately left, because he was worried about Misaki. This time, Suzuka's past is shown when she was alive. She was burned because she was protecting Kazuki and Shizuki, so when she died she still tried to help them. She even asked Polka for help. This time it is shown that Tsubaki and Arasa are interrogating a killer nicknamed Phantom Solitaire. Arasa investigates the fire that occurred some time ago. He suspects that the Skullman and fire-breathing insects were involved in the fire. Back at the Shinomiya family home, everyone manages to escape, but Kazuki and Shizuki are left behind. A bodyguard tries to save them. Kazuki realized that the bodyguard was acting strangely. Because of that, the bodyguard tried to attack them. Luckily Misaki came to help. It turns out that the bodyguard is a killer who is nicknamed the fire-breathing insect, because he can emit fire from his hands. He fights with Misaki, but it turns out he also set a trap to kill Kazuki and Shizuki. Luckily Polka came to help them. The fire-breathing insects who saw this immediately ran away, and the fire in that place was also successfully extinguished. Then Polka suspected a servant. It turned out that a fire-breathing insect was disguised as a servant. Polka and Misaki tried to fight it, but the servant threatened to burn the whole place down. Suddenly a lemmings came to the place and defeated the fire-breathing insect easily. After that, Takaru interrogated the fire-breathing insect and took it to the police. Moving to Subuki's place, Phantom Solitaire says that the fire-breathing insect is someone who is very crazy. He can kill people without a plan, therefore there is no way he can be caught. It turns out that the person who attacked Shinomiya's family was not a real fire-breathing insect, therefore the fire-breathing insect killed the person who tried to imitate him.